Now at 10 and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com, a double homicide in an Austin suburb shocks the community, and the suspect identified as the 45-year-old son.
Congressman Michael Cloud weighs in on the Hunter Biden probe during a hearing with Hunter Biden present in Washington.
And ERCOT puts out a weather watch for next Monday's cold front.
We are going to be talking about that front. It comes in on Monday and it puts us into the big chill, so we need to get ready for some freezing weather this weekend. We'll talk more about that coming up.
And one of the most legendary coaches in all of sports leaving his throne. I'll have that in sports.
You're watching 25 News now at 10. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker.
And I'm Karina Garcia.
New at 10, the Hallettsville Police Department is asking the public for any information on the whereabouts of Bradley K. Pustejovsky. His family says he left his house on January 9th to go to the hospital, but had not returned. He was last seeing his gray Ford F-150. If anyone has seen Bradley, please call the Hallettsville Sheriff's Office, the Lavaca County Sheriff's Office, rather, at 361-798-2121.
Victoria police arrested 24-year-old Triana Stovall of Victoria in the 5800 block of North John Stockbauer Tuesday night. She faces 6 charges, including 2 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. She is in the Victoria County Jail in lieu of $33,700 bond. A former judge and his wife had been shot to death in their home Monday night in a suburb of Austin. A suspect is in custody and police say it's their 45-year-old son. Seth Carnes is in custody for the murder of his parents, former district judge Burt Carnes and his wife Susan. In the arrest affidavit, Carnes' 20-year-old daughter had called 911 late Monday night. Seth had admitted to killing his parents. He said he thought his mother was trying to put a sleeping pill in his mouth. Carnes said that was the only reason why he shot his mother. As for his father, he said, quote, "I've just been looking for something and figured I would finish the job," unquote. He is being held without bond.
A third arrest has been made in the murders of a pregnant teen and her boyfriend in San Antonio. 47-year-old Merto Romanos faces charges including abuse of a corpse and tampering with evidence. These charges are in connection with the deaths of 18-year-old Savannah Soto and 22-year-old Matthew Guerra. Authorities believe she is tied to the 2 suspects arrested last week in this case, and they say Romanos admitted that her gun was the murder weapon. Authorities do not believe there are any other suspects involved in the case.
She is believed to be, I'm not sure exactly what the relationship is, but maybe a stepmother to Christopher, 19-year-old Christopher. She is being charged with 3 felonies.
The killings happened when Preciado tried to buy marijuana from Guerra. He and his father then reportedly drove the bodies to the apartment complex where they were discovered. ERCOT has issued a weather watch from January 15th through the 17th. The watch is due to forecasted extreme cold weather across the ERCOT region, higher electrical demand, and the potential for lower reserves. Grid conditions are expected to be normal during an ERCOT weather watch. ERCOT continues to monitor conditions closely and will deploy all available tools to manage the grid. ERCOT says no action is needed.
And the Homeless Coalition of the Golden Crescent says 2 warming centers will be in Victoria, open Sunday at 5 p.m. The Salvation Army of Victoria headquarters, 1302 North Lewis Street, and First United Methodist Church, 407 North Bridge Street, will stay open as warming centers until Wednesday at 8 a.m. Transportation to the warming centers is available from Christ Kitchen, 611 East Warren Avenue.
Let's take a first look at your forecast with First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Pettis. And Mac, when you see the warming centers already scheduled to be closing starting on Sunday afternoon, people are starting to take this very seriously.
Yes, and I'm glad they're hearing the word and getting the message, because this is the time to plan, is now, not when it's too late. Folks, this is Monday, 9 o'clock in the morning, and by that time, we expect some snow in North Texas, some ice in Central Texas, getting very close to our area, and some rain below that as well. That's you. So we need to just get ready with the heavy coats and all the protections of outdoors as we need to do. And we'll talk more about that and how to plan for this coming up in just a few minutes. Back to you.
Mac, thank you. Longtime Congresswoman Eddie Bernice Johnson has been laid to rest. Her burial was held at the Texas State Cemetery in Austin. She died on New Year's Eve at the age of 89. Johnson is being remembered as a trailblazer who served her country and the people of Texas for 30 years. She served in the U.S. House for 3 decades, where she became the first black woman to chair the House Committee on Science, Space, and Technology. And she also led the Congressional Black Caucus.
Today, House Republicans started the process of holding Hunter Biden in criminal contempt of Congress. And the president's son made an unexpected appearance with his lawyers outside of the hearing room. The House Oversight and Judiciary Committees both subpoenaed Biden for his testimony as part of the impeachment inquiry into President Biden. However, he didn't show up for a closed-door deposition last month, further frustrating lawmakers, including Congressman Michael Cloud.
He flew all the way over here the day he was scheduled for a deposition just to not appear and to kind of thumb his nose here at this body. Today he showed up, and the minority is trying to make the case, well, he showed up to speak. We've been here a couple times. I've been in a couple committee hearings, not nearly as many of the members here. Never have I seen a witness show up when they want to show up, which is further evidence of why he is holding Congress in contempt. He thinks he's above the law. He thinks it has no weight on him, and understandably so for the moment, because the DOJ refuses to follow up on anything and has done.
Ms. Ballant votes no.
From unproven claims that President Biden was involved in or financially benefited from his son's foreign business dealings. If the contempt resolution passes out of committee, it's referred to the full House for a vote. If that succeeds, the Justice Department would determine whether to prosecute.
The South Texas Regional Job Fair will begin tomorrow at the Cuero Municipal Park Clubhouse. This is an opportunity for job seekers to find their next career move and for businesses to recruit the region's top talent to join their company. For more information about the job fair, visit stxjobfair.com.
We recently had all of the mayoral candidates live on 25 News Now to hear their various platforms. Now we're giving you a chance to learn more about their character and personality. We asked all of the mayor candidates the same 4 questions. Our first question was for them to show us an important item in their home or office.
Number 2, talk to me about your dream job when you were a child. Number 3, if you're elected mayor, what is your greatest fear? And finally, what is your favorite quote and why?
My dad wrote a book about his childhood, and 100%, that's my most valuable tangible possession. Yeah.
Is that a book that you can purchase, or it's available?
No, it's actually he put it together, and there's 5 copies, and each of my siblings and myself have one, and so that's irreplaceable as far as I'm concerned. You know, I wanted to be a professional baseball player, which, you know, what kid doesn't? What a great job, but it's not what the cards held for me, obviously. Yeah, you know, I think anytime you're going into a position with those kind of responsibilities or a project, your greatest fear has to be what information is out there that I don't know about, that if I did know about it, I could attack this issue better, I could handle this situation better. So I think it's just a fear of what's out there that you need to know that you don't know about, which is why I'm always trying to, you know, get additional information and study, try to learn everything I can about what I'm working on. There is, and it's too long to quote here, but it's referred to as the man in the arena, and it's a quote by Teddy Roosevelt, and the gist of it is basically putting yourself out there, doing things that open yourself up to potential criticism, to potential scorn, slings and arrows from others, that sort of thing, but doing so because you know that that's something that you need to do and you want to do. But that's always been my favorite quote.
That was Dwayne Crocker. Also on the ballot, Josephine Solis, Jacob Salceda, Peter Brown, Carissa Winters, and Robert Bob Constantine. Early voting starts January 17th and runs through January 30th. Join us Saturday, February 3rd for complete coverage of the special mayoral election.
The 2024 competition for Miss America is underway. 51 young women from all 50 states and Washington, D.C. are competing for college scholarships and the crown of Miss America. The competition includes interview, talent, fitness, and evening wear. Finals for Miss America Sunday night. The organization will award more than $250,000 in tuition scholarships at Miss America and Miss America's teen national competitions. Here's Miss Texas from just up the road, Ellie Bro.
My name is Ellie Bro. I am from Houston, Texas, and I went to the University of North Texas.
What's it like for you to be here at Miss America?
It is nothing but a blessing. I have worked 3 years, actually 4 years now, to get here, and I'm just excited to share my message of unity and really bridging that gap between our communities and law enforcement.
How has the scholarship money helped you?
Tremendously helped me and my family. My mom's a teacher, my dad's a police officer, and so we're not in that tax bracket where we can throw thousands of dollars into school. And so being able to afford almost 3 full semesters of school within the Miss America organization has been amazing.
What are your plans for a career?
I hope to go into broadcasting, hopefully take your job. I would love to go and be a broadcaster, host red carpets with E-Network.
Miss America contestants contribute more than 500,000 hours of community service every year. Ellie Bro is a Missouri City native. Here are some of the top headlines you can read in the Port Lavaca wave. Port Lavaca received new signs and several public outdoor spaces in an effort to bring public awareness to rules and regulations. Plus, the Calhoun County Commissioner's Court has authorized for an increase in funds for the Sheriff's Office. You can read these stories and more at theportlavacawave.com.
Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell so you can see Crossroads Today on YouTube. And stay with us coming up on 25 News now at 10. The House Homeland Security Committee is arguing whether or not to impeach Alejandro Mayorkas over his handling on illegal immigration.
Also ahead, Attorney General Ken Paxton is calling on the state Supreme Court to intervene in a lawsuit brought on by his former aides. Today, the House Homeland Security Committee held its first impeachment hearing for Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. Republicans are pushing to impeach Mayorkas over the border crisis. They criticized him over what they claim is a deflection of duty as border crossings have reached record highs. They claimed he has refused to enforce the country's immigration laws and enacted policies that make Americans less safe. Democrats have blasted the move as partisan politics.
It's not constitutionally grounded. It is not constitutionally sound. It is not going to save any lives at all. And there is nothing that you have put forward today that evidences in any way a impeachable offense by Secretary Mayorkas, the first immigrant to serve in this position. A dislike of the president's policy is not a basis for impeachment. A basis for impeachment is corruption, abuse of power, betrayal of the nation.
If successful, Mayorkas would be only the second cabinet official impeached in American history. Those who work closely with Mayorkas say he does not plan to resign. Attorney General Ken Paxton is asking the Texas Supreme Court to intervene in a lawsuit from his former top aides, asking the high court to block a lower court's order for Paxton to testify in the case. KXAN reports Paxton filed an emergency motion with the Texas Supreme Court on Monday, asking the high court to stop the whistleblower's request for sworn testimony, which was mandated by a lower Travis County court in December.
The Texas Tribune reported that Governor Greg Abbott raised $19 million over the last 6 months in an effort to support political candidates who advocate for expanding school choice in the state. You can read the full article on our website, crossroadstoday.com.
For your viewer poll tonight, we want to know, should an elected official use campaign funds to target opponents? Yes or no? Let's look at the numbers. It looks like 96% of the voters said no. I call that a landslide.
We got a landslide once again.
Yeah, there you go. All right, we thank you for voting and come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part. The CDC says nearly half of adults have hypertension. Many are prescribed blood pressure medication to reduce their blood pressure.
And now we're learning that medication could have some extra benefits like protection from dementia.
Taking your blood pressure medications can decrease the risk of dementia in late life, according to a new analysis with data from 15 countries. People who had untreated high blood pressure had a 42% increased risk of dementia compared to healthy people, the analysis found. But people with high blood pressure who took their medication had no significant increase in dementia risk. The study does not specify if any particular drug or dose has the most benefit. So just be sure to take the drug that you're prescribed by your doctor. And as always, talk to your doctor if you have questions about your medication or your health. With this Medical Minute, I'm Em Nguyen, ABC News.
Here's a look at your top headlines you'll find in the Cuero Record. Ben Gray becomes the new DeWitt County Assistant District Attorney, and the Cuero Rotary Club announces 5 new members. Read these stories and more at DeWittCountyToday.com.
Well, good evening, everybody. You know, it is January, and January should be cold. We haven't seen any cold weather, but boy, is things going to change in the next 5 days. Right now, we're at 54 degrees at the current temperature. And of course, we only got up to about a 70 this afternoon. That should be right about there with a 36 low this morning. But the problem is, as we get 2 major frontal systems, we're going to have to be dealing with some bitter cold coming up real soon. We'll be talking about it and get you ready for the big chill coming up after this. Well, good evening, everybody. We've got to talk about the cold air coming in. This is the low temperatures for the next 5 days. So on Thursday morning, tomorrow morning, we'll be at 56. On Friday morning, we'll be at 39. On Saturday morning, we'll be at 49. Sunday morning, 36. But there's the problem. Beginning on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we're going to be looking at temperatures down into the 20s at night. So that is a hard freeze, and so we need to start getting ready for all of this. First of all, if you have a home that's built on what we call pier and beam, in other words, there's room under your house where the water pipes roll, it's a good thing to start wrapping them up with something. Tender vegetation is going to take a burn on this one, and we want to make sure you put out some shelter for any outdoor pets, you know, like a big dog or even your cattle and your horses. You got to consider they're going to be dealing with very cold weather. And of course, if you can, make sure you drain the water sprinklers, because if there's water in the lines, the plastic's going to pop. So all of these things we're going to be dealing with in the next couple of days. Right now, fairly comfortable. We're looking at 55 degrees, 54 for us, and about 60 down along the coast. Not particularly a problem, but all this begins on Friday. Tomorrow being Thursday, not bad. Friday is when the first big front comes through. High pressure, of course, gave us a lovely day today, but already storm number 1 is out there and storm number 2 is going to be right behind it. We're going to go through Future Tracker to show you what's going to happen over the next couple of days. First of all, first storm will be here on Friday. When it passes, before the front comes through, strong gusty winds out of the south. After it comes through, we're going to get 40-mile-an-hour winds behind it, and it'll be colder as well. So that's the first one. The good news out of this is don't expect to see any precipitation out of it as far as we're concerned, because it's going to go blow by so fast. But then as we get into Saturday and Sunday, which are okay, Sunday night we start watching to the north because the low will start moving into the plains. Then the front comes through, and there you see it, snow above, ice below, and then rain way far south. And then it's Monday morning when it moves through the area. That's when we'll have all kinds of problems. Monday is already an action alert day because we need to get ready for this. We're going to have icy problems. So kids outside, working outdoors, not going to be a good day on your Monday. And then as we get into Tuesday, it does blow away fairly quickly. So by Tuesday morning, when we get very, very cold, at least we'll be on the dry side. So we're not going to have an overrunning situation like we had for the big storm when warm air was going over the cold air and we're getting all that precipitation. So these are tonight and tomorrow. You can see how we're still on the mild side. Here's the freeze line. You're going to be looking at this map quite a bit over the next couple of days as bitter cold starts rolling down. In fact, as you know, we're going to be in the 20s for a couple of days, and then places like the Panhandle are going to be in the single digits. So we are looking at 64 in the morning, 73 tomorrow in Port Lavaca. In Cuero, we're looking for a 56 and then a 74 in the afternoon. And then for us here in Victoria, a 70. We're looking for gusty winds on Friday, okay Saturday, Monday alert day for the big freeze coming in, and we're looking at temperatures getting down as low as 21, 22 by the time we get to Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. That is your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that. Put Crossroads Today on your phone. Here's Zach with football.
Some football and some basketball scores from last night as well. I'll have that coming up in sports. We've got more basketball scores from around the area last night. The ranked Shiner ladies took on Schulenburg, and they had their way in that game. Quick release on this three-pointer is going to open up an already large lead even further. Back on the defensive side, they're going to get the stop right here, and that great defense going to lead to some fast break points. Just clinical for the girls on this possession. And on their next possession, the same exact story. This is 3 possessions in a row. It was a track meet, and Schulenburg just couldn't keep up. Shiner wins 72-12. They play at Louise this Friday. Same gym, but this time for the boys, and this one a much tighter game. Shiner down just 2 to Schulenburg, but the layup no good. The putback no good, and they get tied up, and they're going to give the possession to Schulenburg, who was fouled on the inbounds, made 1 free throw, so Shiner down 3, still with a shot, but they've got to get it up in time, and they do, but it's stuffed at the horn. The Shiner boys fall 53-50, but what a great game. Over at Victoria East, the girls have been dominant out on the courts, looking to stay undefeated in district play, and they're going to do just that. They defeat Miller 87-42 and improve to 3-0 in district play. Nevaeh Sanchez, 22 points in the game. Sanaya Randall and Lillian Rather in double digits with 10. Their next game will be against Ray, who is yet to win a game this year. Victoria East tied for first place with Veterans Memorial in district. The East boys not quite the same luck with Miller. Tough 5-point loss for their first district L of the season, looking for that home court advantage against Ray this Friday. The Refugio girls knocked off Yorktown 51-45. Refugio moves to 2-3 in district. Yorktown falls to 2-3 in district play. Well, the NFL is a brutal business, and no one's safe after 14 years, a Super Bowl champion, and the winningest head coach in franchise history. Pete Carroll, no longer the head coach in Seattle. The move surprised many, even Carroll, who says he fought pretty hard to keep the job. The Seahawks had a winning record. No word on where Pete will go. But that is not nearly as shocking as this latest report. It's being reported by many major networks that Nick Saban is retiring. He won 6 national championships with Bama, 5 SEC Coach of the Year awards. In his entire college coaching career, he has won 297 games, which is 5th all time, 80% winning percentage. The accolades go on, and early reports say that Oregon head coach Dan Lanning is the early front runner to replace the legend. And Dawn, I did not know this. You did. You know everything. Nick Saban was actually a defensive back coach for the Houston Oilers in the 1988 season. And speaking of Houston football, C.J. Stroud, your AFC Player of the Week. That's it for your sports. Donna Karina, back to you.
So that means if Nick Saban was with the Oilers in 1988, then we covered him at training camp with the Oilers in 1988 at their first year at, have you ever heard of this college, Texas State, I believe it's
yeah,
called.
my sister's there right now.
Back there, it was at Southwest Texas State in San Marcos. That's where it was with Jerry Glanville and the guys.
All righty, thank you to you both, and stay with us. Coming up next on 25 News Now at 10, we're going to take a last look at your weather with Mac. Plus, one town in Colorado is looking for its next non-traditional mayor. Texas town is on a mission to be crowned as the quinceañera capital of Texas. You can read the full story by the Texas Tribune on our CrossroadsToday.com website.
Tomorrow is National Milk Day. I'll milk the story for all it's worth. The day commemorates when, as many believe, the first milk deliveries in glass bottles started in the U.S. Fun fact, The U.S. and Australia export more milk than any other country. That includes delicious milk products like cheese, yogurt, ice cream, and butter. To celebrate National Milk Day, you could treat yourself to a tall glass of milk or maybe a milkshake. And speaking of cheese, a winter wonderland in Wisconsin full of cheeseheads, fresh coating of snow. I'll take the segues where I can find them. Snow blanketed southern Wisconsin, leaving residents to clean up afterwards. Some were out this morning with shovels in hand to clear their driveways and sidewalks after almost 6 inches of snow fell there. The scene is playing out all over southern Wisconsin as people dig out. Shoveling can be backbreaking work, but one guy does not mind it one bit.
It's a wet and heavy snow for sure. That's why I wanted to get out last night and make sure I got it off the driveway because I thought it might freeze last night. But yeah, a little more work today lifting that snow for sure. I love it. Yeah, I love it. I love a good snowfall. You know, it's beautiful and it gets you outside. And yeah, there's nothing like it.
And lucky for him, more snow is expected this weekend. You know what? This kind of makes me want to go ahead and pick up the phone and call Gino real quick and ask him how he's doing in Wisconsin.
I think we ought to get a live report from Gino. Gino's in Wisconsin, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Our good friend Gino Perez, who took a job in Wisconsin. We should do that live.
So he's actually been posting a lot on his social media. They built a snowman that was like over 7 feet tall. No, yeah, he's from, is he from Bastrop?
He's from Elgin.
Elgin, guy, he always talked about it all the time. Yeah. But well, he's not used to that type of snow. They built a snowman that was shack size.
Well, we're all going to be, shall we say, bundling up next week because the big freeze is coming in. Now, tomorrow is not a bad day. Friday is going to be a very windy day with winds probably up to 40 miles an hour. Consider that if you have any work doing outdoor. The weekend, Saturday is good, so is Sunday. But Monday morning, the front blows through and the temperature will be taking a nosedive. And then we'll get that icy precipitation as we get our temperatures down into the 20s for the middle part of the week.
Thank you, Mac. And finally tonight, a town in Colorado is searching for its next mayor that's neither Republican, Democrat, or human. For the past 12 years, the town has elected an animal mayor as part of an animal shelter's campaign hosted. All of the funds raised during the election go to the shelter. The current mayor is Clyde the Donkey. Officials say the current field for the town's upcoming election consists of 3 dogs. Hey, wait a minute. It's a donkey. Must be a Democrat, right? Am I getting it?
Yeah, that's the logo.
Yeah, there you go.
All righty. Thank you, guys. Thank you for joining us for 25 News Now at 10.
Join us 25